Hello. I am Connor McGovern. I'm a video editor. And I would like to edit someone's YouTube channel or put together and manage a major YouTube channel as my job. So this channel, Propel Forward, is basically a sample package that I will send out to companies or people or pre-started YouTube channels that are looking for help and saying, look, these are some of the things I can do. And obviously they would get better as they go along. This is just a setup to show you how it might go, but realistically, if you really wanted to get into podcasts, we'd build a little set. Instead, I just set up a table in front of my TV and put a light on us. But the idea is at least there. So Propel Forward is the name of the channel. And today, for a podcast topic, we will talk about influencers on the internets. As always, again, I am Connor McGovern, and this is my lovely, beautiful girlfriend, Aidan Garling.
Hi.
Influencers. They are people that influence people.
Is that the dictionary definition of influencers?
Yes.
All right, then.
My belief of an influencer right now, currently in this day and era, 2020, and for a while, is that it's the new idea of being a pro athlete or a rock star for kids in school. A kid that plays football is like, I'm going to be in the NFL. But it's really hard to get in the NFL. And a kid that starts playing an instrument wants to be a rock star. But there's only a handful of rock stars as well. I think the new idea is, I want to be an influencer where I can just go travel or, hang out with my friends and take pictures and companies will just give me millions. Now, that does happen with some people. It's a lot more work than obviously I think kids know of, but that's the same thing with being in the NFL. I don't think kids are just like, you just play football, and it's like, no, those guys exercise every day. That's their job, is to exercise and be amazing at what they do. Now it's like an influencer has to be. They kind of have to come into it at the right time. What are some influencers that you know of, that you like or follow?
I mean, first off, I feel like everything you've said is kind of crushing kids' dreams right there.
But it is, though.
No,
it's okay.
Reality, but I mean, you're like, just because you play football doesn't mean you're going to be in the NFL. Just because you play an instrument doesn't mean you're going to be in a band. But, I mean, you think of successful athletes or musicians or even, I don't know, I'm not going to say that every kid who lives in their mom's basement and is on SoundCloud is going to turn out to be a rapper.
Right,
but
exactly.
A lot of famous, successful people, that's how they started out.
Right. And I'm not saying it's...
I feel like social media has made it easier for people who want to do that sort of stuff to get into that field.
Yes.
I say field lightly because I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't...
You have to be very successful to only be able to do that.
You either have to be, I think in my opinion, you have to know the right people, to have the right amount of sustainable financial flow, or you have to be extremely attractive or very, very talented. And if you don't have 3 of those 4 things, you're not going to get into it.
Yeah. 3 out of 4? Yeah, but I mean, you have to have a couple,
here.
not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one. Okay. Because there's outside people that become influencers, movie actors that they were in movies and then the movie did well and now they can influence.
You're gonna hate this, but I watched The Bachelor and The Bachelorette,
yes.
And those people who even if you watch it, they're just insanely attractive people who might not have anything going for them on the outside, but because they went on that show, they're like, oh, you're this skinny blonde who is vocal and outgoing, and you've got all this. Oh, here, you can sponsor my product, or here, we'll give you this Instagram, and you'll have 7 million followers on it. And those people get wedged in there because they have that online or TV personality and they're pretty.
Yeah.
You don't see anyone who's ugly going on those reality shows.
Right. And to take a little sidebar on that, because I think it's very important, and it's very important to me, hate watching or hate viewing, as people do, where they hate something and therefore they watch it, is just as bad as watching it and being into it. You're still giving them that, no matter
hate watching is just a term that people use when they don't want to admit that they like to watch something.
Yes, but yes and no. I mean,
they're there for the same reason.
People like to watch it. Yeah, they like it.
You're either there to enjoy it.
They like to hate it. Like Logan Paul. People watch Logan Paul. They're like, oh, he's the worst. And it's like, yeah, but if you keep viewing his videos, I know he got kicked off YouTube, but if you keep viewing his videos and buying his products, it just makes him keep doing
stuff. You're there
stuff.
to enjoy it, or you're there to hate it. Either way, you're still there.
Yes. Okay, but to get back to it, yes, the people from the Bachelor are in fact those kind of influencers. Not influencers that I would care to like, but they are influencers.
I mean, okay, so like Tyler Cameron, he was on Hannah Brown's season of The Bachelor.
Here, we'll put it up there.
Okay, you'll get that. He was on The Bachelor. He should have won. I don't know why she didn't pick him. Not important. But he is... Tyler Cameron, yeah.
Keep talking.
Nope, you're missing an E. Oh, go back. There he is.
And of course he is verified.
He is a beautiful human. He's very kind. He is athletic. He's out there. He also is running some food charity, I'm pretty sure. And he gets people together to, like, run in New York. I'm not 100% sure on all this stuff. I don't follow him that closely. But he does all sorts of, like, good things with his fame. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's not terrible. He's still out there influencing. Like, he's got sponsorships. I mean, not everyone's terrible, but, like, he got into that position because he's attractive. He's outgoing. I think he played football kind of unsuccessfully. But, like, his ABC food, looking at that, you're not...
Oh, sorry.
No.
ABC. Okay. Oh, this.
Yeah. His food tours. They go around... I think that's his friend who's the next Bachelor, maybe? I don't know. But they take kids and... Just have to look more into it.
Yeah. But, I mean, I get the idea.
He seems like a genuinely good guy. I don't know if that's true, but, like... He seems like a good guy. That's one of the things you don't know. These people could be terrible people, but they're just using that social media to, like, glorify perfection, and that's not really what they've got going on.
Yeah. Like,
that's what I like.
That's what I mean. That's what people want to do. They're like, I want to go on a boat.
He lived in Florida, though. Like, he had that life growing up where he lives in Florida, and they had a boat, and they were on the coast.
Right.
His mom just died, though.
What he gets, like, paid to do, in a sense. Not directly to just be on the boat.
Like,
but...
oh God, what's his name? Dean, who was also on The Bachelor. The guy who I showed you all his pictures. Deeney Babies. Right there.
Okay.
He goes around and he travels, and I told you he lives in a van. You're like, well, there's no way he doesn't just make all this money and have a real home.
Right.
But he's out there influencing and traveling, and he's making this life seem obtainable for everyone when it probably isn't really. It's not realistic to just quit your job and live in a van. It is if you were on a reality show and you have all this money coming in, and then you get all these sponsorships from photography companies, and just, I mean, I'm sure any of that apparel that he has going on, he's getting paid for to wear in those pictures.
Yeah. Like these, those goggles are, glasses company. The Smith helmet. He is covering the word Smith, but I could see that. Maybe the skis, maybe the jacket. But yeah, to do just that, and I think that's what a lot of people want, is that, like, oh, we'll post whatever of, because I think also a lot of the younger kids think that it's that too of just
It's not that easy. It's not that obtainable. You can't just get in there.
Right. It's not. I like this computer, so Apple came to me and said, "Oh, since you use our computer, it's now people come to you, and then you're like, yeah, I'll use your stuff, and then they give you money, but you have to get to that.
Do you see all those girls from like high school and stuff that are like, sponsor me?
Yes.
Sponsor me, Truly, and it's like this 19-year-old in a bikini drinking Trulies, and it's like, you're not even old enough to do that.
Like, I have so many TikTok followers, and you're like,
you have 1,500 followers on Instagram. You're not an influencer.
No. But there are good influencers as well. Tim, Tracker? Talk about him for a little bit.
I don't think he's an influencer. It's the Tim Tracker.
The Tim. That one?
Yeah, they haven't been really active on...
I can't believe he's not verified.
They're not super active on Instagram. Especially since they've had Jackson.
That's true. But...
Like, he's very upfront and open. Like, anytime they start a video, they're like, oh, like, go to the NASCAR thing again. This was a big... Or Daytona 500. Anytime he starts a video, he's like, full disclosure, they invited me out here. They're paying for this. This is not... something that, like, I'm doing. They're just going as a media event to cover that. I love that. Companies that are taking advantage of, like, the now, like, things that are popular now, like Instagram, social media, that sort of stuff. They have people just come out and cover it, like vloggers and YouTubers and Instagrammers, Twitterers. I'm going off. Yeah, here we go. But they're using these people as advertising to kind of shoo their way in there instead of just saying, oh, here's my ad that I'm going to pop up on Facebook. But he's very upfront about the fact that he's there as media and, like, not like, oh, look what I get to do because this is just something that everyone gets to do every day.
Because I know, I was trying to see if it was in there, if they were, like, tagged or anything, but there's one of the other cars, and I believe it's one of the ones that won, maybe, don't quote me on that. They have their own, like, whole crew that came out there that day. A completely separate car doing a whole video thing for one of the other companies. And so I know at least 3 of these, there's 3 separate, completely, had nothing to do with each other. If they bumped into each other, wouldn't even know they were probably YouTubers. Were all there at that same event doing the same sort of things. But I mean the influencing, too, of just, like, I know this is what their whole channel is based upon.
Oh, this was their announcement about having their baby.
Right. But it's that. Even if they're not being paid for that. That's
they
just
probably... Scroll down. This might be their baby moon. They might have gotten invited to... wherever the heck they were. Oh, like that cruise. I'm pretty sure that was Marvel Day at Sea. Yeah. They were invited to go on these cruises. Jen used to be terrified of cruises, wouldn't go in the water. They get invited to go and do the media stuff. There are things that they pay for, and they'll tell you, we paid for this, this is what happened, this is what's going on. But they'll also say, okay, we didn't pay for, like, hosted, hashtag hosted. They didn't pay for that.
Right. And maybe I thought it was Instagram, maybe it's YouTube now, that you can... There's a tag that'll go down below that'll say this video
sponsored.
Basically.
I think they'll put it in the location, maybe.
Well, there's like its own separate thing for YouTube now, but I don't know if Instagram has that yet.
I'm just a big Disney person, so like all of my influencers, and I won't even call them influencers necessarily, but I just like all of their accounts. Non-Disney wise, like of House and Hens. This is what I like influencer-wise. Her Instagram is all about home decor, living that kind of country chic, like her stuff. She is for sure an influencer. She talks about how she's an influencer. This is what she does.
Vlogger. So she considers herself like, I assume she has a YouTube. Oh, look at that, followed by you.
Yeah, everything you fold up is followed by me.
Yeah.
But, like, this sort of stuff, she, I think, is, like, a stay-at-home army wife who just decorates, and she's for sure an influencer. And one of her blog posts is how to become a blogger, how to be successful in this. Like,
does she own a duck?
Yeah, she has ducks.
Duck.
Yeah, go up to her stories.
there's some more ducks.
Yeah. Go to her stores. Scroll over. I don't know why I'm pointing at this duck coop. She has all of her ducks. She raises ducks. Okay. So, like, on Twitter, she has one personality where she's kind of more raw and realistically her, like, gives more of her hot take opinions, to use that term. And then on Instagram, she's this polished interior decorator, army wife, DIY project kind of person. But you get those two different kinds of personalities of her. And she made a post the other day. It was like, did you come from my Instagram to my Twitter, or did you come from my Twitter to my Instagram? Like, you're getting two different personalities there. Yeah. Which that kind of goes back to, like, how influencing in social media has really taken off. It's like everyone on social media wants to be this perfect version of themselves. Like, oh, I just use this to show my perfect polished life, when really I've got no soul and nothing going on, and I'm hopeless and desperate for love.
So here's an influencer, I guess we'll say, that I really like. Peter McKinnon. He is a photographer / YouTuber. He has this, like, gray scale look.
That's how you know they're influencers. When their Instagram has, like, this polished overtone that they use presets on everything.
Yes and no. I mean, I don't think he uses presets because he is a photographer, so that's, like, his thing. But because they are all actually, like, amazing photos.
Right.
But
like, I like all of Dean's photos.
He sells, like, I think he has his own company of selling, I want to say knives. I honestly don't know the other company's name.
Isn't that funny? We love these influencers and we're like, oh crap, am I right about all this? Do I really know who this is?
Right, like, are they actually a nice person?
Really, no, you don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Other than, like, other fans who have met them. Like, with Tim and Jen, I know everyone who has ever met them has been like, they're so genuine, they're just the same as they are in their videos, they're so nice, they'll take the time to talk to you. It's like, I don't believe that they're bad people, but then you get, recently I've seen on Twitter, like, people making these hate accounts for them, just saying terrible things about them. Like, yeah. That's part of the good and bad of being an influencer. You get people that hate you and people that love you, and really, you're just a person.
Here is my number one influencer of all time, Corridor Digital.
They're not just one single person, though. I think that's something else you should touch on there.
And, yeah, every single one of these stories, these are, I mean, not, like, clickable, obviously, but these are all different YouTube channels they own, which is, like, you know, their main channel, the way they got started, I think it was, like, 12 or 10 years ago. Their gaming channel, their somewhat vlog channel, their podcast, and then they have a guillotine channel. Guillotine, yeah. Which they made a guillotine, and they just chop stuff in half. And again, they have their own.
They look like very targeted ads.
They do
almost.
like
maybe targeted is not the right word, but
yeah, they do look like ads in a sense.
It's like they're definitely promoting their own thing there, but within promoting their own thing, they're promoting something else.
Right, and they sell
influencing.
Right,
boom.
They sell their own clothes, the merchandise.
That is a fantastic definition of influencer. Promoting yourself to promote something else.
Yeah. And if you like, what I'm really realizing, if you like the person that you follow, you don't, you feel influenced. You don't feel influenced. You feel like it's just...
You're a part of this.
Yeah, you're a part of it.
Cult. It's a cult that you're a part of.
I respect their opinion, you know, like, right, but you're actually being influenced by their opinion. Like these. Let me see if I own some of my absolute favorite clothes. Not some of my favorite clothes are their shirt and their sweatshirt. This sweatshirt is my favorite sweatshirt that I own.
Are you allowed to show their Instagram and stuff on YouTube?
Yeah. I don't think you're not allowed to. I don't know where the shirt was. They sold those a while back.
Just a gray
But yeah,
shirt
it's like a gray shirt.
with their logo on it, right? Part of you being influenced, that I've noticed this, if they have a cool logo, you're like, yep, I'm in, that's it, let's go.
I do like a cool logo. Like, if we go back to Peter McKinnon, he might not have it in any of his pictures.
He wasn't part of Corridor, right?
No, he's
He looks like the one dude.
He's in Canada. Yeah, he doesn't have it in any of his pictures, but his logo is pretty much that, but it says Peter.
Back to that is Hannah Godwin. She was on The Bachelor.
Okay, so apparently being on The Bachelor is how you become.
It is. I mean, like,
influencer.
Demi Burnett. She was. Oh, there's Bree. She was on the Bachelor, and then she came out as bi, and then became kind of like a icon role model for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people hated her, but that's the problem with being an influencer. Again, you're either loved or you're hated, but you're gonna be both no matter what.
Here, I think
Yuck.
is the number one influencer that I
Oh, look, I follow her.
hate. Oh, God, you do follow her. So you support her, whether you like her or not.
I support her in the most minimal way. It's not like I'm buying all of her products. I just like to, like we said, you're either there to like it or you're there to hate it. I'm not there to necessarily hate it, but I'm not full on endorsing it. I just, sometimes it's like a car crash. You can't look away.
I guess.
You're like, okay, this is cool, like this kind of crafting thing, and so many of them are influencers. They're just influencers in another realm that we're not a part of. Like, we're not big cosplayers, but like, you're a creative person. You're kind of influenced by some of the things that they do.
Let's see. This dude, Small Cosplay. This dude makes amazing stuff. I don't know how he makes his money, to be honest, but I know he makes a lot of cool stuff.
He's an influencer.
I wonder if the games themselves give him money. Like, does Assassin's Creed, does
Oh, I'm
Cyberpunk,
sure.
or does he make it other ways? Let's see what his bio says. Usually in the bio is where they make their money from. Let's see what this link is.
I feel like when you've really made it as an influencer, you start to have a, what's that thing where you can pay money?
What?
To support them.
Oh, Patreon?
Yes, Patreon. I
Yeah.
feel like, oh, there you are, you're an influencer. Support me on Patreon, even though I'm already getting paid to be supported by these other companies.
Yeah, I think Patreon is... It's one of the more stable ways because you can also...
I'm not trying to, like, crap on people who have Patreon. Like, one of my
Right.
vloggers and YouTubers that I like to watch, they use Patreon.
So one of the dudes from Corridor Digital...
Carmichael.
He was one of Corridor's editors a long time ago. And then he left to do his own thing. He now runs a Dungeons and Dragons video... I mean, I guess they're not really podcasts, but like Dungeons and Dragons channels, and he puts out 2 videos a week. And he started it from somewhat scratch. You know, obviously people knew him from Corridor, so he had people that could leap from there. But he doesn't make his money from YouTube because sometimes videos can do well, but overall they don't get that many views. But he has a Patreon, and if you have a niche, you know, people that are going to support it and keep paying.
It's a niche.
A niche, like a market, means like you have a small group.
A niche or a niche?
Niche.
I think it's niche.
I think it's niche.
N-I-C-H-E?
Yeah.
What a niche?
I think it's niche.
Words are hard. I say this like it takes a certain kind of personality to be an influencer, and you're going to think, oh, well, the people that I watch aren't the same as the people that you watch, or the people I follow aren't the same as the people that you follow, which is true, but they all have kind of that personality where they were able to get to that point. They have a certain drive, a certain vision almost. Like Tim and Jen, they've been on YouTube vlogging for 10 years. They didn't start with the intention of being an influencer, but here they are now with thousands and thousands of followers, making videos every day. But I mean, they've committed their life to that after they got to that point. Like, we know people who are committing their life to this before they even get to that point, and they're not doing anything else with their lives, which makes it really, really hard for you to be an influencer when you don't have a life outside of what you're doing.
Right, and they started early, too. That's the big thing about
Yeah,
YouTube.
they were like 2010, maybe. No, earlier than that.
I mean,
I don't know.
Even a lot of stuff, it's like you just have to start at the right time. I think it's not impossible, but near impossible now to get into it. Because it's so
like, you have to
diluted.
When you start out, you have to have one set direction on where you're going. Like House and Hens, the one that I showed you, she started out, and this is one of her blog posts, she started out as a army wife making welcome home signs or something, I think, for other army wives and girlfriends, and that's how she gained that big following on Instagram. And then she transitioned her account into like home decor, DIY, and some people stayed around for that, other people shared it. She started, kind of branding herself more, but she started with a small following from one thing and was able to keep people and kind of funnel outwards from that. Some of the people that we know are not sticking with one type of goal in mind. They're not trying to gain followers from a certain way. They're just like, oh, I'm going to try this because this worked for someone else. But then in 3 days, I'm going to try something that worked for someone else, and I can't figure out who I am as a personality for people to even want to pick up on me.
And that's that whole quote of, I think it's more for the artist, but in a sense, it's the same thing of, you don't become a true artist until you stop
trying to please other people.
No, not even please. It's I can't think of the exact quote, but it's something along the lines of, you're not your own artist until you stop being an admirer and you start being a creator. And it's like when you're making your own thing and you're not just making something that someone else has already made. Okay, so to go back to the Fables thing too, they have a bigger following than I thought. They have 60,000 subscribers, but if you go to their view count, their total views, they only have 619 thousand views, which is not a lot. And he said in one of his podcasts, obviously he does not make his money from the sponsorships aren't always there because he's still kind of getting it.
Scroll back up on here a little bit.
Started,
like in there about.
He makes his money from Patreon, but he has the same Patreon followers every single month. And so he puts that money towards it.
Here's his thing, though. He has one main thing that he's about, like his whole Fables YouTube channel. But within that, because he's gained that following and he's been successful there, he now offers... Go back, I wasn't done there. He now offers his Twitch stuff. Then he's got a podcast. Then he's got after show hangouts. Then he's got mini-series. Like, he's got all this stuff, but it's still within the same realm of his one topic.
Right. And still with this many subscribers... I don't know how well he's doing right now, but as of the podcast, I think just a couple months ago, he had like 3 months of rent left, and he, was barely making it, cutting the edge, like almost was kicked out of his apartment, and it has that many subscribers, and he didn't start from scratch. I feel like this would not work from scratch had he not been a part of Corridor Digital, or
right.
They say
that's part of those 4 things I talked about.
Yeah.
He knew the right people.
And there's this whole thing, too, of... at least I've heard that there's a place in California, not like, there's a magical place, but there's this area in California that there's just people that live there that it's like, I can make something work in the YouTube world. And so many YouTubers come out of one general area. And it's like, why is that? Why is there not, some, and there are some, there's those scuba divers down in Georgia that do really well.
There's hot spots around the country.
Yeah, but there's for sure hot spot. There's no far as I don't know, there's no like giant Columbus YouTuber.
No, I mean,
This or
we
that.
have famous people that come out here and there, but it's not like...
But there's an area that you could probably pinpoint. I would love to find a map, but you could pinpoint where a bunch of them are. And they just have that idea of, oh, I can make this work. So these guys are like in Georgia, and there's a couple of them.
Do you consider them influencers? What's the difference between just a YouTuber and an influencer?
It's a good question. I would say they're the influencers for the people that are into it.
Like,
But
I
they're
don't...
a YouTuber for the people that just follow them. Obviously,
Tim and Jen are YouTubers for sure. Like,
Right.
that's... You know that for a fact. But I don't consider them influencers.
but see, I
I
would,
don't think.
because their whole thing is Disney. They're like, oh, Disney, let's do these. It's not like we're going to do some crazy video at Disney. It's just their Disney related things, and then they gain a following from that, and then they just have a following of who they are a little bit. But that's like
I love
their...
home vlogs.
Exactly. They influence that sort of like, if you're into Disney, you're just have that whole mindset of this is great and these are all the cool things. Versus like this guy, you know, ultimate $5,000 river treasure. These guys basically try to make
It
the only
sounds
bad
like
thing,
clickbait on all
a
of their
little bit.
titles.
Yes, they try to do these like these major what are they called? When like a video blows up and it's like, oh, this video not trending, but this video is
Mainstream.
yeah, I can't think of the term, but
You're not giving much to go on there.
no, it's like every video is some amazing like $5,000
Clickbait,
a little
it
bit
just-
of clickbait, yeah. But then for the niche, if it is niche group
Niche.
or niche or whatever, of people.
I don't remember. I heard this word in science, like science classes growing up.
Yeah.
And I had different teachers that said niche and niche, and I don't know which one.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's both, or maybe they're two different words too.
I don't know. Okay, but I mean, look at their titles. Just
right, and these guys go.
found expensive, irreplaceable
Yeah.
jewelry, lost, capitalized, underwater, $2,500 drone. They didn't have to put that in their title.
No, and some of them are that exciting where it's like, I mean, the other day one of these guys found a World War II active bomb. And
That
they
wasn't
had
the other day. That was a while ago, wasn't it?
No, it was yesterday. They uploaded
Really?
it. I think it was yesterday, yeah. And they had to evacuate the entire park, but he said they had to, in the title it says, had to evacuate the entire city. It's like, okay, they didn't evacuate the city of Georgia. They evacuated the parking lot.
Well, Georgia's a state, so.
Or whatever, and the bridge. But some of these too are a little bit of clickbait. And that's, but for the people that are into scuba diving, they'll
Okay,
say,
were they really stranded at sea for 7 days on a survival houseboat?
no, I don't think so. I haven't watched that one, but that's the thing. The people that are really into it, they're like, oh, these are the goggles that we use, or these are the, you know, I use this metal detector. And I think that, you know, that they sell or just kind of influence. These are the things we use, in some sense. So the people that are
Do
into
influencers have to be sponsored by someone to be an influencer? Like, does someone have to give them products to subliminally almost advertise for them?
I don't know. We'll end it on that. That'll be the question. People can comment what they think. I have my own answer, but we'll see what other people think.
Leave it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and
Yeah,
subscribe and make sure you click that bell to stay notified.
If anyone made it this far, congratulations. I will give you a high five if I see you in person. And we will know. Actually, we'll know. Just comment something. Even if it's your opinion or whatever you want to comment about it. If you made it this far, let me know. And we'll see who our real friends are that made it all the way to the end.
Thanks
Alrighty.
for hanging out, you guys. We'll get better as we go, we promise.